Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. Oh, I'm so noisy as I get comfy. Welcome to part 2 of Who's Driving the Bus.
Is that literally what we're calling this episode?
Part 2, Who's Driving the Bus. I quite like that.
Who's driving the bus?
Probably not, because SEO, no one's going to search Who's Driving the Bus, are they? But I'll stick it in there somewhere.
The cackling women. Does anyone
Two blondes,
search
one
for
brain cell.
cackle? No.
I
I will continue to say no.
She will continue.
No, I do believe that we have more than one brain cell between us.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, good.
Well, at least 2.
Could, yeah. Yes. At
One
least.
So, last episode, which
Yes.
for these guys was a week ago.
Should we have brought an outfit change?
Oh, sorry, let me just go in. Superman. For us was approximately 3 minutes ago.
It was.
But it's important to split them. We were talking about what happens when you have all of these good intentions, but those little bastard voices that a lot of people don't even realise they've got keep you going in directions you don't want to go in.
The voices, it's patterns, is, isn't it? It's
the
like
habits of doing the same thing.
Yeah, and I used to see it all the time in myself.
Yeah,
you know, and because that I suppose sometimes when you've made changes. In fact, I'm not going to start there. I'll come back to that in just a moment, because I think it's really interesting for me personally about how the pathways don't disappear. We just carve a new way.
Right, I think that's a great place to start, because I'm just going to do a little science drop.
Okay.
Positive Intelligence, created by Shazad Shamin.
Mm-hmm.
If you get the chance to go and look at, just Google Shazad Shamin TED Talk. It's about 20 minutes long. It is phenomenal. Go and listen to him. He's the person who created Positive Intelligence. It's a registered trademark. It's not our program.
No.
But
we have permission. I have permission at the moment to run it.
Mum has permission to run the coaching
we have a membership.
course, and I'm gonna get one. But at the minute, I'm just gonna go and physically do the course. So, what was my point? Oh, this is all researched and studied and backed up by a lot of science,
neuroscience. There's positive psychology. There's cognitive behavioural therapy. There's there's a
huge amount, and I just wanted to preface this with that, because one of the things that we don't like doing is spouting shit we don't have the references for.
It's really important to me that science is behind everything that we do.
So
and research.
One of the questions that I asked Mum to explain, because it oh my God, you know when you just hear something and it just makes sense and you're like, that's why I do that, was this changing the neural pathways. So in our brains, the reason, habits are formed, and they're these pathways that we have that our brain can do without us thinking. So let's say you're making a coffee, you don't have to really think about how many spoonfuls you're putting in. Or one of my favourite ones is when you're driving somewhere that you drive all of the time, and you get there and you're like,
how did I get here?
And it's
the easiest way to show it as well is, I have shared this before, but just very briefly, it's when you get a new kitchen. So I can see in my head.
When you go to open it, and
I can see in my head when we first moved into the flat, the kitchen.
God, I don't even think
where the cutlery was, and it was on the opposite side of the kitchen.
Oh, is it where the dishwasher is now?
It's that side, yeah. So literally, it was that side. And then what we've done is we've rejigged the whole kitchen.
Yeah,
we've actually moved where the door is, everything, and now it's on the left hand side. But for the first set of weeks days that I went in to get a spoon or whatever, I would go to the right hand side.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go to the left. I'd go to the right hand side, because it's an automatic thing, and a lot of what we do is that it's automatic, and that's the whole point about the fact that we live on automatic for 95% of the day. And of course we want that, not the 95% automatic as in we don't want to be aware of it, but we want these patterns because we don't have enough brain
things we
energy.
need to do repeatedly. Our brains might as well make as easy as physically
exactly.
possible.
But of course that's what Shazad Shamin and his team found, was that there are a lot of pathways that are laid down when we're younger, dependent upon a lot of our experiences, and we all have them. That they ultimately then created what are these, this master judge and these 9 other characters as such that inhabit us. That's generalised, because maybe there's others, but just to keep it very simple. And that there is then a sage part in us that actually is the part that is all about empathy and curiosity and meaning and purpose, and that
I've
what can
realised the
happen.
sage is where my whimsy lives.
Yeah, and what can happen is that we, because of life and the ways that we can grow up and the patterns that we learn and how those pathways lay down in our brain, we can spend a lot of time in what we call the judge and the saboteur areas of the brain, and it's that. So it's this whole bit about having to, intercept that. That's what we do. It's literally because you've got seeing it is one thing, but intercepting it and going, oh, hang on a second, I see you. And in ultimately learning it in a fun way, because you mentioned something on the last episode, which had been really important for you, and it is important, you stop fighting it. So it's like that, this discomfort, this tolerance of, the fact that actually we're not perfect and we're, we are flawed. I'll put both hands up and both my feet. Like,
unfortunately, I'm human.
I am human.
Human.
So it's all of that. And what happens then is, we've got to see that those patterns are there. And the first 2 or 3 weeks of being in positive intelligence on the course can feel really like, oh my God, you see how much you judge yourself, you judge others, you judge circumstances, you avoid, you people please, all of these kind of things, how controlling you might be, you really see them, but not because they're more, because you're seeing them. And it's that, for me, that whole understanding of how that pattern is formed, and it for me, I mean, gosh, I was 20 odd years older than you when I first came to it. So again, having that self-compassion, this is why everything that I do comes together. There isn't one thing, it's the jigsaw. We need all of these pieces because we need to be really, understanding with ourselves when actually I might have realised that, I'm heading down this pathway, and I don't do a lot about it, and I do it again and again and again. The key, though, ultimately, is that we want to be able to spot these pathways, and then in positive intelligence, we call build a bridge, which is about bringing ourselves back into the present moment. You can call it grounding, whatever it is. In essence, it is meditation, but it's meditation that can be done with your eyes open, and very easy, very little techniques that you can learn to then be able to access your whimsy and the sage and things like that as
curiosity,
well.
kindness.
Yeah. So these,
compassion.
what really made sense to me when I first did this. So I did this with a group of people. I met somebody that I absolutely I just love it to bits. I've got each lives far away because I'd love to see him more often. But I remember in that course learning about how, it's a bit like in my head, it was like a super highway for these pathways. They're well laid down. I've learned how to be, really hard on myself and judge myself quite viciously, is what I discovered. So if you imagine that, judging my circumstances, I'll be happy when I'm slimmer, when I'm fitter, my life will be better, when I've got more money, when I've got this, when I've got that, when I've got the other. So that's the whole point about judging circumstances. So what we do is we rob ourselves of the ability to be happy now, or to be content, or feel grateful. So realizing that, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to need to stop myself driving down that highway, was how I saw it in my head. And every time I realise I'm going down that way, I can brakes on, right, hang on a second. And then it's like, I would turn. I remember seeing this the first time ever. This will sound really strange, potentially. But remember, I almost see myself in this car, like, brakes on. And then it's like, now I'm looking over the other side of my brain and going, I can see there's a road, but it's got dust balls. It's a bit like, it's a bit like tumbleweed. It's like, I don't very often go down that way, but I know I do. I know it's there. I know about empathy. I know about empathy for other people. I know about empathy for, circumstances. I know about all of that, and I've definitely done some of that. I'm not quite so good at the empathy for self. Right. Yeah. So now it's out. How do I see that? And I know you were going to mention about the 2080, weren't you?
Yes. Yeah. Because we mentioned it at the end of the last episode, because I was talking about, you wake up with all of these good intentions. So I tell myself in my head, I'm going to get up today, I'm going to go to the gym, and then I'm going to eat this. I'm not going to have my coffee until after I've had a glass of water and something to eat, like all of these things. And all of a sudden it's 7:30. I've already had my coffee. I've not had anything to eat, and I've not been to the gym. And it's like you then get this really like quick judgment of yourself, where you're like, oh, I'm such an idiot, I can't believe I forgot, blah, 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 blah. But actually, I think what we did was we just went down the superhighway. Because the habit is so ingrained in you to go down that superhighway. But also it's like, what's the actual thing? Because logistically for me in that situation, the voice is going, what's no point going to the gym because you're just going to quit anyway.
Right. So you've got that going on. Can I give another example?
Yeah.
Picking my phone up when I first wake up.
Yes.
So my phone at the minute it is again, it's my alarm. So the light's broken in the light alarm. And also I wear an eye mask, so that's not going to work anymore. So I'm like, I realised. So it doesn't matter.
Shit.
So I know that I need to make a change in kind of what I'm doing with that. The thing that is fascinating to me, and I think this is where the compassion comes in. So of course we're doing unlocking at the moment, aren't we? Yeah. And what I realised was that we need to write our pages first thing in the morning. The process is about doing it within the first 45 minutes of waking up. And I've been really curiously watching, so I think I've shared, there's a lot of anger come out of mine. And I'm noticing the poor me part of me. It wasn't that this morning. It's been really interesting because I've done a lot of watching with that. I also know that I've shared on here how I want to start to make some changes with what's going on with my fitness levels. I ultimately want to, I am going to run the New York Marathon. I'm just going to say it out loud. When it got cancelled in 2012 because of the hurricane, I was devastated. There's been injury after injury, but I'm going to do everything that I can. And it's this whole bit about realising
Was that
that
2012?
it was 2012. My last marathon was 2013. I need to stop pretending that it wasn't that long ago. It's a while ago now.
Oh, that's 13 years
Yeah,
ago.
Paris was 2013. So I didn't stop running then. But anyway, the reason that I'm saying that is because I hit a point last week. It was really fascinating for me. I'd got really good at picking up my phone, turning my alarm off, putting my phone back down, getting up. So just taking a moment for myself, just kind of almost,
Like,
what's my
I'm awake.
state? How am I waking up? Because I'm really good at doing
Yeah.
that. How am I waking up this morning? What's the state that I'm in? Am I feeling anxious? Is there anything? And I just kind of make a note of it for myself, get up, and then I would go, take my stuff. I take my tablet first, my HRT. That's the first thing that I do in the kitchen. And then I go into the front room. I've got my book on the table upstairs. I open it. My pen's ready for me. I've got into that habit now. And then I write. Okay? So I've been thinking about this because, what I realise is habit stacking is a really important thing to do. So I'm curious about the fact that I then, if you want to call it, fell off the wagon, went back down the superhighway of last week. I got up, I had my phone. I don't know where my brain was. Maybe my hormones were all over, whatever's going on. Because I know that has an impact on all of this as well. I think, let's not just go, oh, it's us and our patterns. Hormones are a bitch. As a woman, and what they do. So I suddenly find that I'm laid in bed because my husband, your dad, is on mornings. So I quite like the fact that I wake up on my own.
Yeah, and have big bed on your own.
Not at 5 o'clock, when he goes. But I don't know if it because I was tired, but I'm picking my phone up and I'm looking at my phone again. What I know I'm really good at is recovering quicker.
Yeah.
So it happened for a few days and I was mad as hell with myself in my pages, mad as hell with myself, blah, 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 all of this kind of stuff. And then my birthday happened, which was glorious. And then what happened was I got out of a little bit of a habit. So I had 2 days that I didn't do these exercises, I didn't do blah, whatever. And I realised how easy it would be for me to go back down that route again. I could see it in my head, and I've, in the last couple of days, really thought about, all right, what's the practice of how I want to do this? So empathy and understanding for myself, a big dollop of compassion. No wonder it happens. People fall off the wagon, things happen. Nothing is perfect. See, there's the difference. And I was like, I don't need to be perfect. I need to be consistent. And consistency is going to require that I am going to make a mistake and I am going to learn from it. And I'm going to sit with the fact that I made a mistake. This is and I realise that I've done this before. And that when this starts going, it starts building the momentum. So I know that if I watched the habit of how I get up, that there's something that I need to do. So we have a bathroom upstairs. But if I use the bathroom upstairs in the bedroom, then I will literally walk into the kitchen, do my tablet, go straight into the front room. And I was like, should we break this? Let's think about this differently. So I thought, right, I'm going to go downstairs, because when I go downstairs, I'm going to go where all my clothes are. I'm going to put my gym stuff on. I'm going to put my gym stuff on first. So I can see myself changing this, because normally in my head, there'd be a voice that goes, oh, don't bother. So I'm like, no, I see you. I see you. And in that first moment when I wake up, that's exactly what I do. I'm like, I lay there and I go, right, what's the state? How am I feeling? Well, no, I can see it. Right, what do we need? What we need today, we're going to go put our gym stuff on. We're going to come straight back up the stairs. We're going to sit at the table. We're going to write our pages. When we finish our pages, you're going to go back downstairs once you've put your trainers on. And now you're going to go and do your exercises. And once you've done your exercise, and I could see it, and it was like,
So the habit stacking. So the HRT was already the habit.
yeah,
You've stacked morning pages on top of that.
yeah,
And that's becoming something that's just naturally happening. And now we're stacking on top of that again, and we're going to bookend it with putting the gym clothes on, going and doing the exercises. That's the habit stack.
And it's noticing, and the reason that and it worked brilliantly this morning, and the reason that that's worked is because I've really understood these patterns that I have of how I tell myself it's not going to matter, it doesn't matter, and that there's no point, and that I can't change things. Things like I've made the bread that I've always wanted to make. What's happened then is that means, because often I'll come out and I've not eaten if because I'm chaotic on a morning. You know, I think that's really important. I'm okay with that, because the neurodivergence, ADHD, you know, that's it. I'm more susceptible to being dysregulated. So it's understanding that about myself and spotting the patterns.
Yeah, building things in to help you with it.
Yeah, so I make my own breads. There's a really incredible lady online. One of my very many things that I save that must do your head in on Instagram, but I've gone back through to have a look at it, because I know that if I eat well, and it's all of these little things, but it's because I know that I've got within me a voice that is feel sorry for me, you know, and I understand that, and that's not gonna serve us.
No.
That's not gonna get me what I want, and not going to enable me to be able to achieve the things that I want to do, you know. And at times I do need to give myself some compassion and some love and tell myself that I love myself. But I think this is the part, through positive intelligence and understanding, some of that is avoidance.
Yeah.
It's hypervigilance, because actually it's really interesting now I've understood about the complex trauma and ADHD diagnosis, that hypervigilance is one of the biggest things. Well, my 3 biggest saboteurs in positive intelligence, number 1 was avoidance, number 2 is people pleasing, number 3 was hypervigilance. Well, no shit, Sherlock, now. So actually, I know those 3, the 3 musketeers, they're not going to go away, but what I can do is manage them. And that's exactly what I do. So but this is that whole bit about understanding, you know what, I as much as I can, I am going to intercept that superhighway. I'm going to get that to be, as much as I can, looking slightly disused. That's what I want, slightly disused, and I'm building this one to look lush. So that actually, you know, the sage, the empathy, the understanding, the curiosity, the meaning and purpose. Is this going to matter, you know, at the end of my life? Am I going to care? That's all of the kind of things. And that's where the 20/80 rule comes in. Because what I understood from that was, when I first heard it, it was like all of these light bulbs went off in my head. Because we read books, right? I'm an avid reader.
Yeah, we know.
I know, I have got a problem. We read books, we watch films, we listen to podcasts, you know, we see reels, we see all of these things, this inspiration that's all around us that often is very overwhelming. There's a lot of it. And we think, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try that. And it's almost like we kind of, we try and put it, it's like, I see myself a bit like a tape deck. Put the tape in, I know I'm old. Like, this is what I'm going to play.
Cassette player.
But the cassette player goes, no. Because my patterns, I need to understand.
I have a really good example for this. So if you've ever done team training at work, so we used to do these like team trainings, and I, you know, or like at school, we do these, when I was teaching, we do these like CPDs, and they'd tell you all about these things that you could implement and these, and I'm a good person to have in a training room, right? Because I listen, I get involved, like I fucking love it. Put me back in learning, I love it, right? And I'll sit there and I'll do it, and I write all of these things out, and I'd have all of these amazing plans and ideas, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And then literally 2 days down the road, I'd have forgotten it all and go back to all of my other habits. And I think a lot of places do this with like team training, but that's because they're focusing on this 20%, which is the insight, the ideas, the
give
inspiration.
you the ideas and the inspiration.
Yeah, but the 80%.
That's it.
That's the bit. So tell people about what that is underneath. Like, what is
all
it?
of these patterns. It's these. Call them saboteurs if you want to. Call them protectors.
It's building the muscle, isn't it?
It's the muscle of that. It's the muscle that intercepts that.
Yeah.
It's the first time you hear someone on training. Okay, we used to say this all the time in the training room. So people would be so like excited leaving the training room because they were going to go and try something. You know, they'd seen it. They'd given it a little bit of a go.
Bit of a taster.
But maybe not a practice fully, not tried it out with the other people.
Yeah.
And then you get into the situation where you're going to go and try it out. And now you try it out. And what happens is, let's say it doesn't go right. What's the first thing that you do? You idiot. I knew it wouldn't work. So you couldn't do it. And maybe you're not even hearing that voice in your head, but you've got this feeling and it's like, oh, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
I'm not doing. And now you never do it again. But actually, that's the point. We need to build the muscle of the intercepting. Sorry, Lauren.
No.
Not build the muscle. We need to weaken the muscle of those saboteurs, so by intercepting it, and build the muscle that goes, you know what, I'm new at this.
Yeah, I'm so proud of myself for trying.
I'm proud of myself for trying.
What can I do differently next time?
I'm well chuffed that I noticed. I could have gone down that.
Let me be empathetic.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right, take action. What's needed now? I'll give you a really good example. So one of the things that you have always, you just astounds me. I admire how easily you will pick up things and new stuff. And one of them is, so at the moment, you know, I am so excited about the House of You. And the programme that I've been updating and developing.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the things, you know,
the visualisation is stunning.
It's gorgeous. And I can see it in my head, and I know I've got ideas that I want to do.
Yeah, we're building.
But before I do that, I want to create the workbooks that are going to go along with it. I've had this dream for ages. And you know, one of the things you've always done is gone, give it to me, I'll have a go.
Yeah, let me
but I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm proud of the fact that, you know, Lauren sends the emails. I've always written the emails, but Lauren would send them for me.
Yeah, I've been a
I'm doing
scheduler.
all of that. So
the last few emails that you've got on, including the one that's gone out today,
at 9 o'clock this morning.
Scheduled
I wrote them,
the programme.
and you know they're from me and my words, and I know exactly how to put them in. I've done thought leadership pieces. There's another one that I'm doing this week that's going to go out. I'm doing them, and so this next one for me is this booklet, right? Creating a workbook in Canva.
Yeah.
Right. So just so you know, little insight into my brain. I sit down in front of my Mac. I'm about to go and do it. Lauren's got me into it. I had hell doing that as well because I couldn't remember which email address was I actually in the team one with, because this is me. Hello, menopause. And I sit down thinking, right, I'm going to create a workbook. You'd be proud of me. I went on YouTube. I've watched 3 videos. Do I know how to do it? Do I? Hell. Have I had a go? A small one. Is it any use? No. But I'm actually laughing because yesterday, I could feel it. I could feel this part of me because I was beginning to kind of tell myself I was just useless.
Oh,
this
yeah,
isn't going to happen. A lot
when you're trying like technical
stuff.
And
I'm like, but I'm kind of. It's almost like I'm sat going, okay, no.
You're noticing it like,
I see you. I'm not. No, we're not doing this. So what we're going to do? We know we're with Lauren tomorrow. We're actually going to. That's got to be a big thing.
Yeah.
We're going to do it, and I will learn how to do this. And then I got really excited because I knew once I learn how to do it, once I can see pulling this together, where do I get the images from? How do I do it? You will be proud of me. I've actually written what this booklet needs to look like and what's going to be in it. Not everything, but just that I've got the whole thing, which I normally wouldn't do. I'd normally avoid like hell.
Yeah.
But I've thought, right, I've got the words. I know what's going in it.
Yeah.
It's now pulling together the images and how it looks in the workbooks. Right? And I was really proud of myself because I thought, do you know what? You've got to this point. I now do not have the knowledge and I haven't developed the skill of doing it because I don't have the knowledge. I need more knowledge. And it was such a moment for me where I could have gone, you know, shut my laptop, thought, or whatever. But I'm not. I'm determined. By the end of this week, I will have produced my first booklet.
Yay.
And from that point on, because it's this taking ownership of stuff. I can feel myself wanting to sit up because,
Yeah.
and my body's going, yeah, because it's, you know, in that moment then, because once this bit's done, I can already see it. I want to go and talk on podcasts about it. I want to go and guest. I want to talk about the House of You. I want people to see what's within it. I just have this real vision, you know, of how, built on what I've already been doing, because people have gone through it. I called it restoration.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's evolved, which is what
Everything
things do.
does.
Yeah. You know, and it's really come from this place within me. I love this line. I help women lead from real. Not from perfection, not from, you know, performance, you know, not from anything that makes them feel like they're not themselves. I help women lead from real. And it's, for me, it's that understanding who I am, using who I am as a real opportunity, you know, to kind of, I don't know, because it's not
Live the
about being a
life.
better version of yourself.
Just live the
I think
life you
that's-
actually want to live.
I think it's really important. You know, we hear about transformations. I don't do transformations. I do restorations. You know, because actually it's about understanding who I am and these patterns.
Yeah.
Which ones serve me, which ones don't. You know, and actually what do I want to be able to do?
Yeah, and now that I've learned all of that about myself, what do I actually want?
Yeah.
Now that I know those voices are the ones who've been telling me what I want, what does the curious part of me want? What does the creative part of me want? What does
It
the
is.
whimsical part of me want?
Yeah. What about even just that word fulfillment? That came out yesterday in a session,
Fulfillment.
which was incredible. Fulfillment. What fulfills me?
Oh,
And for this particular client, being able to get past, you know, this pattern of criticism and, you know, living from this place of fear and all of these things happening, and suddenly now for them to be able to be like, oh, what? And going, that no longer serves me.
yeah.
That no longer serves me. And this is what I'm going to go and do. You know, to then get a message afterwards where this very thing that they were telling themselves, you know, because here's the bit, you know, what's the point of getting it out? Because if actually I get out this particular thing that I want to go back and be able to do again,
Yeah.
you know, they're comparing themselves unfavourably. There's the judgment. Yeah, to a past version of themselves that used to do this particular thing really well. I'm not going to say what it is because that's important. And then, you know, we that's when we did talk about it. And I did say, would it be okay to share about, you know, the activity thing? So I told them about, you know, my biggest fear, you know, what if I start to do all these exercises? What's the point of doing them? Because will I ever run again? And I was like, and actually, I see that's a protector. And I'm like, I see you.
Trying to
I
protect
get
from the
it.
disappointment.
I hadn't realised you're running the bus. And do you know what? I don't want you running the bus anymore. You're not driving this. The part of me that needs to drive is the part of me that got me out of bed, used to at 5:30 sometimes on a morning, because actually I love running. I know a lot of people don't. And I didn't until I was 36, you know, but that was a massive thing for me about what he did for me. And it's like, I think because it's felt such a precious dream,
Yeah.
like yours, that desire,
Yeah.
you know, with what you were saying, Lauren, the excitement I feel for you with the National Trust page. Why not? And why not?
I know. I also premiering. I want to be the painting. You know, there's the same painting in every single hotel room. I want to be the painting. And I don't know if it's the premiering because you're a bit purple for me, mate. But like, you know, like I don't know, like the Ibis or something.
Why not?
Like I can see some hotel.
Boutique
that's got,
hotels.
yeah, like I just think my artwork's really fucking good. You should come and buy it from me. So what I'd actually quite like to finish with, because what we've talked about there is thank you. Like, so there's like these, I see it as like these sort of like three sort of stages. There's like the sage version of us.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me what my three were. I've lost that thought.
Okay, so you've got the three areas. You've got your judge and your saboteurs.
Yeah.
The bridge.
And then the sage. Right,
and then the
thank
sage.
You. Yeah. So let's take a moment, right? So let's say that because what I want to do is give people like a real thing. Because what I think's quite difficult here is that, you know, we've talked about recognizing these judges and saboteurs. And I think a lot of people will be like, oh, that's me. You know, like when you start doing something, or maybe, you know, we talked a couple of weeks ago now about you went on your artist date and the sort of judge saboteur side of you was like, oh no, I can't tell my husband that that's what I'm going to do. And then it was the bridge that you've got, and it was your sage version that was like, we need to go and tell him because we want to do this for ourselves.
Well, the bridge was me noticing that's what was first of all, I intercepted it, and then the bridge was I walked downstairs to go and get and just sat. And I loved your things because I felt my toes.
Right. So what I want to do is say that sometimes so this is the part where you have to build the muscle, right? Because finding the empathetic part of you, finding the creative part of you, finding the sage part of you that's like, hang on, I see that that's procrastination. I see that that's perfectionism. I see that that's whatever it is. What do I really want? Actually, that's that you can't just switch to that. There isn't just like a magic switch in your head that you go, oh, I'm just going to choose to do this. You have to build the muscle. It's like going to the gym, but in your mind. And I wanted to ask you if you would do a rep, just live with us now. So like to give them a way to do this. So I thought if we could do a PQ rep together, and talk them through one, so that, you know, when they notice a saboteur or a judge or just a thought, a horror, any I say this in quotes if you're not watching, negative emotion, because they're all important emotions, anger,
but we don't
jealousy.
live there.
Yeah, we don't want to live there. So what we want to do is come back out of them. So these are these are the tiny little ways that we were talking about, these tools.
I'd like to point out again, it also ultimately it will depend on how hefty.
Yes.
If you wanted to talk, because if we're talking about mental fitness here.
Yeah.
Right. So if we're talking about mental fitness and we're wanting to build muscles in mental fitness, then it's really important to understand, to certain
creatively,
things.
empathetically.
Well, if you think about different situations and different things that have happened in our lives, then you could equate them to a weight in a gym.
Yes.
Some of the things that happen in your day will be 1 kilogram equivalent. Some things will be a 2
kilogram.
So
my little boy didn't want to put his socks on this morning.
Yeah.
That's a 1K.
That's
it's
a
annoying,
1K.
But it's a 1K.
Yeah. So there's things like that, but some things might be really chunky things.
Yes.
You know, you get some bad news, or your
health.
The car. Yeah, your health, the car.
Yeah.
The car. Think about the car. Well, both of us have had car nightmares. You know, so there's the car kind of thing. So if you think in a daytime, there's a number of these things that'll happen. The ultimate aim is that they have less of an impact on us, and we manage them better. You know, we recover quicker, and we preempt some of them, and we manage them better. So actually, there's the mental fitness. So some of the things that I'm about to say now in terms of reps, because actually, a PQ rep is about bringing yourself back.
It's the
grounding in and being able to notice what's going on for you. So you've intercepted. I've just noticed. I'm sat in a meeting, and actually, I'm avoiding saying what I need to say. With that as well. So the first thing that I would do is, one, I'd celebrate that I'd noticed. Now, I've demonstrated celebrating often, but you don't need to celebrate in any big way. It might even just be that, you know what, you've just got a little image of yourself in a head with a flag that goes, whoop, yay me.
Yeah, so I remember the first time you said that to me, I was like, I can't do that. And I felt really like, but so mine is, so when I noticed her yesterday, I was like, what?
It's like that. So it's whatever it is. So the idea is celebrate that I've noticed. Yeah, celebrate that I've noticed. And now, so for example, a rep, okay? So 10 seconds can be a rep.
Let's do one
together. So literally, I'm going to just ask you, you know, just we'll do the toes one, because I know you like this. Before you do that though, Lauren, just take a moment, just kind of notice yourself in your chair. Guys, you don't need to close your eyes, because if you're in your car, don't close your eyes. Let me just say that. If you're driving, I'll give you another one for driving in a moment. But just even as you kind of sit in or stand in, just notice your toes. First of all, just give them a wiggle. And then find your big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toes. Just find them. Just take a moment.
I hope people are watching, because my face is like...
Yeah. And just even that. So there's that could be a PQ rep.
Yep.
So we've just found our toes. Another one. Some people prefer touch. Yeah, exactly. You went to it. So what we're doing is I'm just going to bring together my thumb and my first finger, and I'm just going to rub
I don't like this one
the finger
because
pads.
I can't always
Yeah,
feel
you can't
it.
always, because actually what you're doing is you're rubbing it with just enough pressure and attention to detail that you can feel the fingertip ridges, which is something that I can.
Hey, for the first time ever, I can feel that.
Now, interestingly, with this one, just 10 seconds. 10 seconds is enough that if you were in an MRI machine, you would see one side of your brain quieten, where the judge and the saboteurs live, and the other side would now start to light up. Now, we're
And your
doing
heart
this for
slows down as
longer.
well.
Yeah. Because what's interesting for me is if I'm sharing this with a client and we're looking at doing this, my shoulders automatically drop now with this. I can feel myself just, it's getting quieter.
Yeah.
And often if I've asked, and this is with no judgment, no expectation, I'll say to people, what did you notice? Just bringing those two together, because you could do that at any point. What people will often say to me is that my brain got quiet. I noticed I wasn't thinking about anything else. So it's just an interesting one, just that, and it can be any fingers. The other one, connected to that is literally running all of the fingers and thumb of one hand across the fingers and palm of the other hand as well. Just noticing the sensations.
One of the ones that said you were going to say about, because one of the things that I use, if I'm in the car and I realise that I'll realise that I'm sat up over the steering wheel, my shoulders are tight, and my eyebrows are like all scrunched up. And then, so what I do is I run my hands across the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And I just feel what the steering wheel feels like. Like I just feel the textures. And as I do it, it's like, so that's building the muscle for your body, your brain to be able to choose the other highway, isn't it?
That's the bit. And
that's the bridge.
And
that's
then
what we're doing.
Ultimately what we teach people, and this is what I would teach people, is how to use the sage powers that are in there. So empathy.
Yeah.
Explore, which is about curiosity. We do innovation. So again, if you've ever been in a team meeting, so shout out to any teams. If you're part of a team and you know that you guys struggle,
if you go around in circles,
you feel like you go around in circles, you struggle to make decisions, you just want to make life more fun and enjoyable, then absolutely with this, because innovation, being able to come up with ideas without judgment, because if you've ever sat in a meeting and you feel like you don't want to give an idea because you know that people are going to roll their eyes, or you've noticed it, or ideas get shot down straight away. Innovation. So for ourselves, coming up with new ideas without giving ourselves a hard time means you're more likely to get really good ideas. Navigation, which is about meaning and purpose. You mentioned earlier the wiser elder self. I think it was on the first one. But being able to connect, I connected with my wiser elder self today in my morning pages, and she's a babe. And that's a really important thing, because often we forget about the future part of me. So in all of the work that I do, I don't forget that. I don't forget that there's an older part of me that's looking at me now going, owie. And she knows what I'm going to do. But it's great to just check in with her, because, I want to be able to understand and get some support from this part of me, this version of me that I know has done it. So I'm building a life that's leading towards her. So you do that. And we're building that muscle by using our senses and being able to come out of what is this superhighway pattern. Step out of it, understand it, be okay with it, have a little bit of a light touch with it. It's a protector. Thanks ever so much. Think Elizabeth Gilbert. You're not driving the bus, mate.
Cheers, babe.
Yeah, I've got it now. And I will just say, because I always remember this is quite fascinating. If you can notice your own thoughts. By the way, do you know metacognition? Hello, intelligence. But being able to notice your own thoughts. And I read an article the other day about name your brain. All right, Sheila. Or whatever you want to call it, type of thing, because it's having its own moment. It's a really interesting kind of dynamic. But that's where for me, I also bring the body into positive intelligence with that. And so you start to build these powers.
Oh, I love it. I'm so excited to do it.
Me too. Me too.
So,
And the newer version.
I know that's the thing that I'm
newer
excited
version,
for,
which
because obviously I did the old
love.
version. So Positive Intelligence is a 7-week course.
Yes, so it's a 7-week course. So you would have 8 sessions with me is how I work, because I like to have a session first to set it up. You'll have done your saboteur assessment, which can always be a bit like
who the voices are.
So you kind of do that, and then what follows then, the videos are always on a Friday. So this is the way that the week runs. So you get an app on your phone that you're able to access. A video will be dropped into there on a Friday. And then
you get 2 days to watch it.
3 Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
but I just didn't.
It's because it's changed now, but yeah, because it used to be Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday you'd meet. So you watch one video. It's roughly about an hour. It is split into sections, so you can pause if you needed to very easily to be able to do it. But the aim is that you're going to watch that video. Throughout the video, this is where you'll see a difference, Lauren, is you'll also see there's questions. So it's checking your understanding. It's getting you thinking about, what matters to you. You'll set goals at the beginning. What are the 3 key, you don't have to pick 3, but what are the key things that you want to work on? Because actually what the mental fitness course influences is relationships. It also influences health and well-being, and it influences performance. So work.
I just got really excited because the first time I did it, mine was about being a mum. Because that's why I chose to do it, was because I knew that there were things that were making me an anxious mum, and I was very, very, very perfectionist in the way that I was trying to approach motherhood. And actually I found a journal the other day because I was looking for sketchbooks with a 2022 little insert, and I read it, and little 2022 me was like, I actually said, I know this isn't forever, but right now I need to be honest, and right now I don't feel worthy. I don't think I'm a very good mum, and I'm really worried about my impact on Arlo. And it was absolutely beautiful to find that and read it and know that I am a different person. I absolutely believe I'm a good mum.
You are.
But you
needed to believe
the last couple of days I've really struggled because I'm not feeling great, and my saboteurs have really sort of ramped up a little bit, especially my one that doesn't like the victim. So that's really interesting that's happened. So you choose it. So that was my goal. I'm excited to find out what this one's going to be.
Yeah, so really get you thinking about that. And then Tuesday, really Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days. You now get each morning you would get a focus of the day.
Yeah.
And then you get 2 other tasks that you're going to complete.
They're only a couple of minutes each.
Yeah, so these are little audios.
Tiny
audio
things.
On a morning, so you literally listen to the focus of the day. It drops at 7 o'clock. On your phone, you'll get a notification to tell you it's 7 o'clock. You can at that point then start to change it.
Yeah.
But generally, if you stick with the normal run, it's 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So there isn't a one later. And the idea is why it's spaced during the day. It's how you're going to start your day, because actually for most of us, that's where the struggle is. Yeah. So it's really getting you to think about how you start the day and also interrupt the patterns. So if you've not noticed, getting a notification at 9 o'clock in the morning, you might have gotten into work and it's already been a bit of a hell in the journey. At 9 o'clock, you get a notification. There's your moment that goes, hang on a second, what state am I in? Who's running the bus at this minute? And then it takes you through this. But the whole premise is that it's the first week is about understanding about the PQ reps, and building the bridge and all of that and how that works. The second and third weeks are the judge and the saboteurs. And then we begin to shift into the sage from week 4. And that's the way that it works, so that you understand each of the sage powers. And there is an option to continue. It does have a further cost if you did want to continue on a monthly basis.
You can keep the app and what you've got for free for the year.
The basic of the...
So you can practice it for a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you want to keep growing, it's called Grow.
And you can that's do that. What you would do.
But you can do this through Mum and eventually
through
me. But yes, so this is an official put out. If you're part of a team, if you're an individual, if you whatever it feels like, if this feels like something that you're like, oh my God, that's me, and I want to feel like that. I just want to say how.
Yeah.
You can send Mum an email at jacqueline.goodwin@blondesrestoration.com. you can reach out to either of us on Instagram. And if you know us personally and you've got us on Facebook Messenger, it is always okay to just drop in there and go, I listened to this and I'm interested.
Yeah, come and have a conversation.
And there will
with
be
us.
a link in the show notes to talk to mother about it.
To talk to me.
Me.
You know why? Sorry, I noticed I did that. What's really important currently at the moment with all of the shit that is going on in the world at the minute, and you know, I know that I'm talking to people that are struggling because of what's in the news, what's being said, and it's horrific. I do not stand by any of it. It is absolutely horrendous what is happening to people, and I am 100% against war, 100% against it.
Yeah,
and though also for my own mental well-being, I know that I don't want to see it on the news and I don't want to watch, and that's one of the biggest things that's enabled me with the whole judge and saboteurs. I don't need to know all the ins and outs of it, and actually for me, keep it to a minimum. And I don't judge myself for that.
Yeah.
I would have done before because I would have thought that I should know and it's really important and that I should be commenting. But yeah, so I think it's really, really important. Yeah. You know, your mental health matters because when you feel better, when you've got that mental fitness, you can start to make decisions about what can you do to help.
Yeah.
Rather than
I'm in a better position now,
feeling
so I can do things like emailing my MP.
Literally,
and
that's
all
what
that
I
kind
do.
of stuff.
Yeah.
But I could never have done that before because I was so wound up by the information itself.
Yeah.
That I then couldn't do the action.
And that's the part.
That's the hard part.
Literally.
I was stuck in the anger.
Yeah, stuck in anger, hypervigilance. Yeah. You know, how do I control this? There's so much. And
whereas actually, it's like, what genuine
what can I do now?
Calm steps can I take to get through
sure.
this? So thank you for being here for part 2. A little bit longer than part 1, but it's fine. Do this again.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm excited.
Cool.
And I'm gonna, because she's told you now that she's doing a workbook. So number 1, I'm gonna hold her accountable. But number 2, I'm gonna make her talk about the House of You. So come join us. Thank you so much for being here. Please do hit follow. I got a notification the other day that was like, accounts with listener sizes of yours normally have more followers. And I was like, all right, Spotify. Fucking take your sass away. Thanks very much. So yes, hit follow on here, on Apple and on YouTube if you can.
Yeah. And share with your friends.
Our job.
We do.
Arrivederci, bye.